Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Steven here, Northwest Small Batch Brewing, and it is another weekly brew talk. Today's brew talk, I've got a couple of notes because I won't be able to remember all this. You know, old age, or it could be the beer. My memory is going. StarSan. I got to be thinking, which is never a good thing, a little dangerous, but could StarSan be used for more than just beer? Now I know from working in the food industry many years ago, back in the ancient times, I believe I have a vague memory of StarSan being used to sanitize the dishes, the food equipment. Meaning you'd have a 3-tier sink. The first tier was full of soapy hot water, and you'd use that to, you know, obviously scrub and clean off. The middle sink would be to rinse that soapiness and stuff and any debris off. And then you would dunk it into the sanitizer bin that's full of sanitizer water for 30 seconds or so, and then take it out and let it air dry. And so there is a use right there for this like StarSan sanitizer beyond just using it for sanitizing in the beer industry, right? Turns out, from what I found out, StarSan can be used on a lot of surfaces. So obviously you've got your homebrew equipment, right? You can sanitize your carboys, your buckets, your fermenters, other home brewing equipment. And the reason being, we all know this, is it gets to hard to reach areas, right? It's a foaming, no rinse sanitizer. So it can get into cracks and crevices that you maybe can't reach. I don't know about you, but I have some buyer's remorse on some kegs slash fermenter. You know, you can kind of do both, but where the opening is so narrow, you can't even put your hand in it. Like, you cannot get anything down in there. You'd have to buy some sort of special, I don't know, brush. And you don't even want to do that because these are like PET these days, and you don't want to scratch the inside because that can be a place for, you know, bacteria to get stuck and grow. So StarSan is great because it's going to reach all those areas, not for cleaning, but for sanitizing, right? But where else can you use it? I mean, I already mentioned that you could, you know, I'm absolutely 100% sure they use it in the food industry, like in restaurants. Now, I'm not saying it's, you know, I could be wrong. They could be using something besides StarSan, but I'm pretty sure it's at least StarSan-like. I'm pretty sure it's equivalent. The kitchen and the bathroom, right? You can sanitize the kitchen and the bathroom. I can tell you, I remember, now this is many years ago, right? This is some of my first jobs, but when it was slow, they don't want your employees just standing around because they're on the clock, and they would find odd little jobs that really, where they needed to be done, probably not, but they didn't want people standing around. So one of the things you'd have to do is you grab a little bucket of sanitizer water and a rag, and you literally just wipe the counters, you wipe down the walls, everything, right? Why not? It doesn't hurt anything, and at the very best, you're sanitizing everything in a food industry. So it's a win-win. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt. So you can do that in your kitchen, at home, and in your bathroom. Make sure you're using the right dosage, right? Remember, StarSan, I mean, I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here, but StarSan comes in a very condensed format. Make sure you're diluting it to the proper amount. And then, you know, like I keep some spray bottles around of StarSan, and they're at the diluted amount that's recommended. You know, you don't want to leave like the concentrated stuff sitting out on anything because it will eat through stuff. It's pretty acidic, as it should be. So you can clean your sinks, obviously, your dishes, your refrigerator, your countertop. You can use it. Well, I say clean, but you can use it to sanitize all of. I mean, it can clean to a degree, but you can use it to sanitize all these things. And hey, in this age of COVID and a flu that's coming into flu season, my friends, not a bad idea. Yeah, you could go buy a thing of what's that stuff that you spray out of the can that, you know, I swear my mom used to do that with a Lysol. You could buy a can of Lysol. But honestly, I think I'd rather use StarSan. It works, you know. We also know, what else can StarSan be used for? it can be used to remove beer labels. For those of us that are using beer bottles and you've got a beer, I mean, obviously this won't work, but if it came in a bottle, here's my go-to, all right, for removing. It is pretty good at removing labels, but what I usually do, because I want to clean the bottles first anyway, I soak the bottles in about 150 degree water on the stove in a pot, and I soak them in a little bit of the OxyClean Free and Clear, or if you have PBW, that should do the same trick. Leave if you can, leave the bottles sit there for 3 days up to a week. It's not going to hurt the bottles. And after that, throw it in some sanitizer. Man, I'm telling you, those labels will just fall right off and disintegrate. That's how I like to remove the labels. I wait till I have enough to do a little batch of them, you know. What else? It's I'm looking at my notes here to see if this is just this is important. This is important. So StarSan's acid-based. I kind of mentioned that. Most of you know that, right? High foaming, no rinse sanitizer. It's odorless, flavorless, biodegradable, which is of course why it's okay to have it as a no rinse. It's not going to hurt you. I mean, I wouldn't just drink it straight up, but it is safe on a lot of surfaces. However, it's not safe on every surface, and that's what I want to get to here, because I don't want to recommend that you just go around spraying everything, you know. So I have a little list here. It's very short, but you don't want to use it on soft metals, right? You wouldn't want to use it on gold or something like that. You want to use it on rubber and plastic. Now, I say that, and you're going, but we sanitize our plastic fermenters. We do. What you should not do is soak your fermenter in sanitizer, or your bucket, or your silicone seals. StarSan will break them down. Same thing with your hoses, right? You're sanitizing like your beer lines. Don't go crazy. Don't leave sanitizer sitting in those lines for long periods of time. It only takes about 30 seconds to sanitize those lines. I'm not saying you have to go crazy and like time it or anything. I'm just saying don't leave stuff soaking in sanitizer overnight. Just don't do it. It's just going to degrade the plastic over time pretty quickly. I've seen it happen. I've absolutely seen it happen, and I know others out there have too. I think you already know this, but you can dilute 1 ounce of StarSan, right, into 5 gallons of water, and then soak your equipment in that for, I say 30 seconds. Look what it says on the label, but it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long for the sanitizer to act on that item. It's just killing the microbes, right? It's killing any, bacteria, microbes on that item. So anyway, that's about all I have. I'm just curious though, what do you all out there use StarSan for besides just brewing? Because I know I usually make 2 gallons each month. And of course I run it through the beer lines and stuff and sanitize my kegs and everything else like we all do. But then especially if it's just sanitizing clean items, I usually end up with like 1.5 gallons left. So I put some in spray bottles, and I have a really cool, I've talked about it before and shown it, but I have a pump spray bottle. What else do you guys use StarSan for, or do you, around the house and whatnot? I'd be curious to know. At any rate, found that interesting. I will see you in another week for another brew talk, another hot tip, another brew day, another single malt. Who knows? But I'll be here. And until then, keep on brewing.